Hey, good morning, y'all. It is gorgeous out here today. It's like 70, 72 degrees with a slight breeze. Oh my goodness. It really makes me wearing my long sleeves and my hoodies. Like today, it's bearable. So I'm going to be out here doing a lot of garden chores today. So honestly, y'all haven't seen much of the garden, and I think it might be time for a tour. Do y'all want to see a tour? And the main reason you haven't seen much of the garden is because it's been changing again. I'm constantly changing the garden around, so adding, taking away, rearranging. So that's kind of what's been going on. And I had to get part of the deck replaced. So everything that was on the deck is kind of in the yard until we finish painting. We also had to get part of the fence replaced. So you can kind of see that. Yeah, I'm kind of standing in front of the replaced part. Also, chickens. So I had 3 chickens. I lost 1 chicken back in May. Wanted to get another chicken, debated on whether I was gonna get some fertilized eggs because Patty went broody. So I was gonna get some fertilized eggs since she was basically sitting on eggs every day. But then I decided against that because I'm like, yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna get, so I don't want to hassle with that. So waited a little bit. Finally, I went in the Tractor Supply one day. They had chicks. Saw 4 cute little ones. Brought them home with me. So now I have 6 chickens. And that delayed garden projects because I was letting them free range my whole yard. But then they kept getting in my garden beds and eating what I planted, and that was starting to stress me out. So I made them a chicken run. So I built that myself with T-posts and this like fencing, but it's like plastic fencing. So I know it's not gonna last forever, but I don't plan on keeping them in this run this way forever either. I do have more area that I can fence off for them to free range in, and I plan to do that so that they'll have more space to roam this winter. But right now, I gotta get the garden stuff situated. So I made them enough space for them to be able to hang out in, and introducing the little chicks to the big chicks has been a bit of a process, but I think that we are now getting along and things are working out the way that they should. You see that house back there, the chicken house. I built that for the little chickens because the big chickens were not allowing the little chickens into their house. They're being very mean, but I know that's all part of the pecking order and stuff like that. But now that the little chickens are bigger than my smallest chicken, they're getting bigger. They're holding their own a little bit more. I think they're getting used to the pecking order, and they basically stay out of the way of the 2 older chickens. I don't say the 2 bigger chickens because Raven is a tiny little chicken, and she's smaller than the big chickens are now. So they're kind of in the middle between Raven and Patty's size. Let's rewind to August 2024. I decided that I was done with corporate America and I wanted to spend as much time and energy as I spend at work on my own businesses. So I already have Oshi Grows, my garden coaching and consulting company, but working 40 hours a week and trying to do my coaching and consulting was a lot, and it stressed me out. So I didn't do much with it. I focused on my job because I did like my job. It was fun. I felt like I made a difference at work, and it was cool until it wasn't. So, and it wasn't the work that became stressful. People that I worked with became stressful, and it was just too much. And like I said, I just basically took all the time and energy that I was putting into my 40-hour-a-week job into my own businesses, because I'm constantly thinking of ideas. But I'm like, there are some things that I've thought of that I'd like to do, and the only thing stopping me is time. So I just decided, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and invest in myself. I'm going to retire and do what I want to do for work. And now I'm a serial entrepreneur. So I have 3 businesses that I work. And so Oshi Grows is one. I also have a grow kit. It's called A Little Pot. And now I have Tasha's Tiny Farm. So I, you know, grow vegetables and fruits and flowers in my garden. And I teach people how to do that with Oshi Grows. But now the abundance of produce that it produces, I sell it at the farmer's market, one of the farmer's markets local to me. But I also sell starter plants. But I'll be talking more about that on that channel. So we'll have a channel for Tasha's Tiny Farm where I talk more about the farm than I do over here. But this is just an update, life update. So keeping y'all updated on what's going on and why I've been missing, and where you see little glimpses of me from time to time. But yeah, so I'm back. But before I get into the harvest, let me go ahead and walk you around the garden. Now, parts of it's going to look a little bit junky just because I put stuff around, but that table was on the deck before we got it replaced, so I'm still waiting to put that back. That chicken feeder is, well, that's a waterer, so that's getting washed and put back in the chicken area today. Then some pots and stuff that fell down off that table. That mulch just needs to be spread out. That trash can is for chicken feed, so that's what's in there. And then the compost area back there with the wheelbarrow, that's all the compost stuff. But yeah, I got a melon plant that is volunteering, but I think it's a melon. The leaves look melon shaped to me, but there's one there. And then there's little ones all along, but there's one little one back here that's a little bit bigger. Where is it? There it is. So that one right there. But there are others that, you know, that one doesn't look like it got pollinated. I saw another one too, but that doesn't matter. So we got that big one, and we got that one turning into a big one. But it trails all along there. The girls are in there. There go 4K, the little ones, and then we got Raven and Patty over here. So yeah, in addition to that water, I gotta take that one out. Rinse it out, and well, actually, they have 3 of them. So that one there, and then there's one inside of the coop area. So all of those need to be taken out and washed. But I can take this, actually, yeah, I can take this down. The shade cloth, I had this up for when it was like 90 degrees because they were struggling to try to stay cool. So I had to give them some more shade, and that's why that was up there. But they're good now. I'm also going to take that tote out. That's what the chickens, the 4K, was sleeping in when I brought them home. Well, actually, no, they were in a box. They were in a box that some of their supplies came in. And then about week 2 or week 3, I moved them into the black tote. And then they were in there up until about 3 weeks ago. So they've been outside 3, maybe 4 weeks. And they have grown so much. Oh my goodness. So much. But yeah. And somehow trash keeps ending up in there. So I have to go in there with my trash picker and pick some trash out too. But they are very nosy. Very nosy. I think I have something for them, so they're all gathered up over here. Look. Nosy. Just want to be up here. Trying to see what I got. I don't have nothing. Oh, she just ate a bug. But yeah, nosy little chickens. You nosy too? Listen to that bark. There's usually little peep peeps. That was a bark. And that's Raven. And they're bigger than her. Look at Raven. You can see how she's smaller than them. Yeah, come on over here so I can do a comparison. Look. I almost forgot again. We're doing a tour. So we got this bed here. And there's green beans, snapdragons, eggplant, more green beans, strawberries, dinosaur kale that I cut back because the bugs had eaten it down. Got another one down in there too. A lot of strawberry plants in here that I need to replant. Tons of green beans and green beans to harvest in there. I've been harvesting from it like every day, but there's still some more in there. Chives and more snapdragons. This is mint, but for whatever reason, something's been eating it down. Now it's growing back. I don't know what keeps eating it. But then I have this volunteer melon. I have no idea what it is, but it's pretty. I got that one, and then there's a tiny one over on that end, but it's going all the way out here. Doing pretty good. Then I got blackberries growing all along the fence, and that is just, they just decided to grow. It was a patch that was back here. I cut it down. Then I made the chicken area and cut it down some more. But it has grown this much just this season. And again, I had cut it all the way down. But I said, well, it can grow along the fence. It can be shade for the chickens and protection for the chickens. Plus, they eat the leaves too, so it's all right. In front of it, I have blueberry bushes. And there's ginger in there. And I'm going to plant beets in there. Y'all are going to plant those beets with me. Then there's voles in here. So there's like holes all in this bed. Holes all in it. From basically their tunnels underneath this bed. So, my owl, he's down, but I'll pick him up. But yeah, a lot of brassicas in this bed. Kale. And then there's peppers. I got some onions growing. But yeah, kale and collard greens, catnip, snapdragons. And I have a castor bean plant that I'm gonna plant in that empty hole. There was dill in there and I just pulled it out because it was nothing but a stick. So yeah, I'm gonna put that in there. Then back here, 2 snapdragon plants. That's a grapevine that I planted way too late. It was in the bag, just like that raspberry that is basically dead. So I planted it to see if it'll do something. I'm gonna keep hope alive, but I'm also gonna get me another one as a backup. Orange mint in there. It totally needs some water, so I'll be watering that later. This is the other castor bean. You can see a couple of leaves wilted from transplant. It definitely needs some water, but it's not looking too bad, so it's all right. Another strawberry plant. This one has produced so many runners. So I need to put a bucket or something under it so that all of those can root, and then I can transplant them. So that's basically a mother plant, strawberry mother plant. This bed with these beautiful marigolds, that orange one is from seed, and I have transplanted, or actually propagated, 1, 2, 3 pieces of it. It's gigantic, but I have propagated 3 pieces of it into other spaces into my garden. I'm definitely saving seeds from this one to plant next year. That basil looks amazing. Cucumber plant has got to go. A couple of tomatoes back there, they looking sad. I don't even think I'm gonna get anything out of those. They're Romas. And then I got a couple of tomato plants right here. And there's like 3 little ones that are blushing. I'm gonna take those off today, part of my harvest. Then there's this branch that's leaning over into my hibiscus. I don't see any tomatoes on it, but not yet, but I think there might be. But that's fine, they can be hiding from me. But there's a couple of tomatoes in there. Oh, there's 3. So there's 2. And then there's 1 more up there. And then I see some more and a lot of flowers. So hopefully we get a lot more tomatoes off of this plant, because I think I've only gotten 2 altogether. Then we got this Roselle hibiscus from seed. This thing is gorgeous, and I cannot wait until it flowers, so I can get all the calyxes to make me some tea. And yes, can't wait to grow it again next year. I'm gonna grow more. Yep, so beautiful Roselle. Then I got more green beans. So there's more green beans to harvest out of here. Let me get that grass out of there, because I don't need it dropping those seeds in the beds. It can drop them all it wants to in the yard, but not in the beds. Anyway, we got a watermelon up there. So this is Amish Moon and Stars. I love how the leaves have speckles on them. They're pretty. Now, some of those leaves I need to get out of there. They look a little bit diseased. But yeah, so I got one growing back there. And I saw another little one on the front side, but I don't see it now. Maybe the camera will pick it up, maybe not. Either way, look at it. Hey, bee. Yeah, it's sprawling out. I see a little one on the end down there that needs to be pollinated. Maybe the bee will get them. But yeah, so Amish Moon and Stars growing. Then this bed looks like it's struggling a lot. So it's about time to just go ahead and transition this one. So I'm gonna put, let me move this. I'm gonna put, definitely gonna put a layer of mushroom compost on here. But, ooh, this marigold is like the only thing that's doing something. This one right here is one that I propagated from that one over there. Oh yeah, but that's Minnesota midget melon. And Minnesota midget melon, castor bean, zucchinis, which I don't care that they didn't do anything, so I don't eat those anyway. Marjoram, another marigold, that's marjoram right there. Garlic chives, they were doing amazing. I planted them in there and they're doing terrible. It's gotta be the soil, because I also planted some seeds in there, or maybe it was just the castor bean seeds, but shoot, something is eating that up, and that's weird to me. But strawberries in here in that pot, some onions that I had planned to plant but didn't, and they've just been growing in that pot like that. Gingham, basil in the middle, cucumber, marigold, and oregano in the front. Let's see what we can see on this one. I see, oh, didn't mean to break that leaf, but I see one little tiny cucumber on the end there, and that's all I see. So maybe it'll catch up and grow up the trellis so it can be off the ground. The black stuff on there is worm castings. I came through and sprinkled the other night and then watered, and I think it just stuck to some of the leaves. Oh, this is wild because I thought this thing was dead. It was in this pot. I bought it on clearance for like $6 a few years ago. And this is the tree that it produced. And last year, it was this tree. See that stump there? So I cut it off and there was nothing. And it was in this pot. And I was like, I'm just going to move it. But when I tried to, the roots were so stuck. See that? I can't even hardly move it. So I cut it back, nothing was growing. Then all of a sudden, it started sprouting, and I was like, this can't be that tree. Y'all, and this thing's so big now. It's bigger than the tree was last year, and these are like offshoots of the trunk. So you can prune this thing all the way back, and it grows back full when it grows back. This is all growth from like May to now. Under here is a ground cherry. So that ground cherry was growing. I didn't know it was there. Oh, we got some cherries to pick. But yeah, and a strawberry. So that strawberry started growing from out of that bed because I had strawberries in that bed first. I will be propagating those strawberries. Then that's a dwarf sunflower back there. This tomato tree is now giving so many, and there's a couple tomatoes that I need to go ahead and harvest because they're blushing. I had 2 cucumber plants in here and they were producing until they weren't. They got disease and it was ugly, so I just pulled them up out of there. I still got the hole where I had that trellis in there, and then this one I just tied that tomato plant to it because that's a different tomato plant. This beautiful basil, I think it's cinnamon basil. Could be Thai basil. Actually, yeah, I think it's Thai basil. And it smells so good. Anyway, yeah, lots of tomatoes on this plant. It's still looking good. I came through and took off a lot of diseased leaves a few days ago, about a week ago. So it's looking real good from that cleanup. This is pumpkin growing. Well, there's a tomato back there in that bag. Yeah, so in that grow bag, tomato plant. But yeah, pumpkin is sprawling all back there like I want it to. Also on the trellis, and it's in this bed. There's a couple of them. So there's one back there, and then there's one up here. There's a Swiss chard. There's a kohlrabi that I need to harvest that's growing out of there. This is a savory plant, and that propagated marigold. Yes, the pumpkin. Look at the little pumpkin. Let me move this leaf. Look at the little pumpkin. Then there's one up there. Little pumpkin up there. And then there's this green one here. It doesn't look like it's changing. And I killed a vine borer that was just hanging out over here this morning. I've seen like 3 of them, and I've killed them. I killed 2 of them. One of them was flying around and it got away. But yeah, it's looking a little, I don't know, a little suspect, and that green one ain't turned orange or yellow like the other ones. But it's all good because this other one is doing really good too. Then we got some peppers in this bed, several peppers. Tabasco peppers, 2 of those. This is a habanero. We got strawberry plant in here, and this strawberry plant has been producing runners. And I already cut a couple of them because they're ready to be propagated. So I'll be doing that also. Then we got this cayenne with these on there. They ain't turned red yet, but they getting bigger. And then there's tons of new little ones and flowers and all of that. So doing real good. Some of these Tabascos is turning red, so they'll be part of the harvest. Now back here, this little jungle, that's an apple tree covered up by morning glory. And I keep cutting the morning glory. Then we got a peach tree and a pear tree that has some disease. I'm gonna figure it out and see if there's anything I can do. Rosemary, lemon balm, not lemon balm, lemon verbena, borage, peach tree. This is the one that gave me the peaches that I made my peach butter with. Beautiful Red Haven. But I'm gonna have to trim her down a little bit because she's growing into the walkway. And this is my moon glow pear that was full of pears, and then the frost came and killed every bit of them except one. But then when I put it in the ground, that one got knocked off. And we got some herbs. But this bed, it's an L shape. I made this one. But yeah, got a couple watermelon hanging up on the end. Bunch of green beans in here. This broccoli plant that was tall as me almost, I broke off the tip. It was full of bugs. Took it to the chicken girls. Some of these green beans look bad, so I'll be taking those off. I hear little itty bitty bird peeps, and I'm almost certain they're coming from my green stalk. I think those birds have made a nest in my green stalks. I keep hearing peeps, and it stopped. We're gonna see if I hear it again. We'll do something with that one of these days. Anyway, more green beans we need to harvest. So there's green beans in here that need to be harvested. But yeah, there's green beans that need to be harvested. Out of here, I got habanero pepper in here too. Zinnias over there in the corner. More green beans. But I'm gonna put peas in here so that they can grow up this trellis. This cucumber, this is the last cucumber that it's produced, so I'll be taking it and pulling that cucumber out of there as well. Along with that cucumber, we got some Swiss chard, some onions, this pepper plant that has given a few peppers, this pepper plant that has given a few peppers, and yeah, this little one over here mirrors that one. So these two are at the entrance when you walk in through the gate. So yeah, you can see a couple of peppers on there. One right there, one right there. Then we got these onions that are falling over. Oh, this one, I can't tell if it's growing that way or if it's ready, but then we got these beans growing up. See? The long beans. Yeah, and they're growing up this trellis. So I've been harvesting from them often. But yeah, when they're done, I'm gonna put snow peas on this side. This is also where I have one volunteer ground cherry. The volunteer ground cherry is the one that is basically, it is predominantly taking over this bed. There's two more in there that I planted, and they're little. Oh, ground cherries falling off. But yeah, that's the one that I planted, and it's little compared to the one that decided to just plant itself. So yeah, I will be coming back to pick up these ground cherries that hit the ground. Yeah, there's plenty of them there. This bed also. Ooh. Oh man, yes, I gotta get water on these. They're looking really bad. They weren't looking this bad earlier. Oh, they're dry. Okay. Anyway, these tomatoes, it's like they struggling. And get away, white butterfly. I mean, moth. I planted beans in here. They're struggling. Like everything is struggling. It's got to be this soil. And it sucks because you can see how chunky it is, how barky it is. So this is what I like to use. It's very fluffy. It's compact. It's expensive, but it works well. So I'll be mixing some of this and some mushroom compost, putting that as a layer on top of these beds that are not performing very well. So, and then I'll be planting them with cover crops. And then we'll go back here to this cinder block bed with the okra and the eggplant and all this overgrown space. So yeah, same thing. The green okra that's in the blocks, like in the holes around the edges, the ones that are big, I put my worm castings on it. That's ones that I put that in the soil, even that eggplant. So you can tell it's the soil. Yep, I just had enough to put, you know, when I was planting those, to plant a little bit of the worm castings in the holes, and they're doing amazing. These other ones, it's got to be the soil, because nothing is doing great in it. This is my sage, which I've been harvesting from it. You can see the backside, she bald-headed. But this is still over half of it left. And you see how big and beautiful it is. I got some pieces hanging up in the house now, drying, for me to make some sage wine. So maybe I'll show y'all that too. And yeah, this is, we looked at this bed already. It's got all the green beans in it and the watermelons on the end. So I think this one might be ready. I'm just a little nervous because I knocked off the tendril that is supposed to tell you when to harvest it. I knocked that off a long time ago, so I don't have that as an indicator. There are no tendrils close to it. There was one this morning when I came to look, and it wasn't dry, but it knocked off, so I don't know. I think I'm gonna pull it. Then I got this one over here that's growing too, and it's still, you know, doing its thing. I think it's still got a tendril next to it, yeah. And that tendril is strong and green, so we're gonna let you keep going, honey. Yeah, but I think this one might be ready. And then in the front, I wanna show y'all this. Oh, I got some beans to harvest. So I have some asparagus beans growing up this trellis in the front of my house. And yeah, it's almost time for me to harvest these beans. But yeah, so I got asparagus beans. I got echinacea that looks terrible. Rosemary, which is just giving and giving. I think that's called Mexican heather, Cuban oregano, and then this passion fruit. And these giant bees love this passion fruit. You hear me? They just be in here, all in it. All in it. And look, I got one right there. Can you see it? And I'm I'm just hoping to see more because there's other passion flowers that, you know, they all dried up. There's another one. I see it. Oh, there's two. Do you see them? Yeah. So I got more coming. And that's amazing. Bees love it. That thing. But yeah, that's here. But let me walk over here to the other side of the yard. Here. These two boxes. So I was growing potatoes in these. They didn't do very well because I held on to the potatoes too long for one before I planted them. So this soil is very similar to what's back there. So yeah, I'm gonna have to amend it to make it a lot better, but I think I'm gonna plant carrots and radishes in here. Deer can walk right up, so I don't want to plant anything that they're gonna like, but I don't know. And then this is comfrey that I planted from seed. It's like 3 years old. I've never separated it. But yeah, it's really big. It's like 3 feet wide. But the bees love it, so I haven't cut it. I've cut off a few pieces, and like I took some leaves of these and mixed them into these 2 beds whenever I planted the potatoes, but that's it. I will cut this back some. I will eventually. I don't think that's going to be on the list of things to do today though.